Speaking of moments, you've been, as you mentioned, your career with the Fever. First six, though, were tough, obviously. They weren't as easy. You guys have made the playoffs the last two. What's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically?
Speaking of moments, you've been, as you mentioned, your entire year career with the Fever. First six, though, were tough. Obviously, they weren't as easy. You guys have made the playoffs the last two. What's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically? Kelsey Mitchell has finally broken her silence. After months of generic interviews, polished press lines, and endless chatter from media insiders spitting their own narratives, the veteran heartbeat of the Indiana Fever delivered what fans have been waiting for, a raw and unfiltered truth. She didn't just answer a question. She dropped a truth bomb so powerful that the WNBA is still buzzing, trying to interpret its meaning. Every word she spoke carried weight. Every tone was deliberate. And in that single moment, Mitchell reminded the world that leadership is not always about volume. It's about conviction. What she said wasn't just commentary. It was a statement that could change the trajectory of how we talk about Caitlin Clark, the Fever, and the WNBA itself. And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever. And you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make, what? The real debate now was Mitchell simply expressing admiration. Was this the early hint of a professional rivalry, or was it something far bigger? A brilliantly calculated, brutally honest, and refreshingly real teammate evaluation that set a new standard for authenticity in pro sports? That's the question fans are chewing on today. But before diving into the heart of her words, let's pause to consider something bigger. Do you believe Caitlin Clark has not only transformed women's basketball, but shifted the global perception of the sport itself? Are we witnessing the single most important turning point in modern sports history? Is Caitlin the needle? Let us know down in the comments below. You've changed the world in so many ways. You've done it with so much grace, and I'm so happy to take the forward with you, to be able to be a part of this experience. But I want to tell you to give yourself some grace, kid. You've done a lot of things that not a lot of people can do. And from me to you, I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to be in your corner. I'm always going to be in your backcourt. That's the magnitude of the question, and Mitchell's comments have forced onto the table. And it's why the Fever star's voice carries so much weight. Because here's the truth. Mention the Indiana Fever anywhere, anytime, and you already know what's coming next. The Clark question. It's as inevitable as the sunrise. Doesn't matter if the player is talking about a defensive scheme, their favorite pregame meal, or the weather outside. Eventually, the conversation turns. But what about Caitlin? It has become the unavoidable orbit of Indiana basketball. And this time, the player forced to answer wasn't some role player. It was Kelsey Mitchell. But you've been with Indiana through the thick and thin. You've been with them since, like we was talking, like we about to go get our rhythm on, Indiana. You've been there. You stuck through until now being a semifinals. What does that feel like? And for people watching, like girls, boys, if they athletes, not athletes, what does it feel like to stick through something and now see it come to full fold? And that matters more than people realize. Mitchell isn't just another name on the roster. She is the franchise's survivor. For years, she was the lone flame flickering in the dark, dragging Indiana through seasons so bleak they were practically unwatchable. This is the same Mitchell who carried a roster that won just 5 games in an entire season. The same Mitchell who endured a revolving door of coaches, 5 and 8 years, while opponents treated games against Indiana as a night off, a chance to pad stats and rest their stars. She was the one who had to shoulder the losses, deliver the polite cliches to the press, and pretend there were building blocks after another 24-point blowout. That was her reality. She wasn't playing basketball. She was pushing a boulder uphill every night. You guys have made the playoffs the last two. What's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically? Oh man, I think a big shout out to the organization taking time to rebuild.